So we're going to talk about the top 5 postseason sleepers. We're going to go through 5 to 1 that you think could get in, might get in.
No, not
don't
into the
sleep on them.
playoffs. It's like could do damage when they are
Could do
in.
damage when they're in the playoffs.
Don't sleep on them when they're in the playoffs.
Don't sleep on it. Okay.
So these might not all end up making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I doubt there probably will be one that misses. But
definitely,
if they get in, these are the sleepers to watch.
Okay, well, let's start with number 5. We talked about them a lot yesterday. They've been dealing with a lot of unfortunate injuries, but kind of picking up and going back on a little bit of a hot streak, the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers are now they're in trouble without Max.
Yes.
But that offense is really good. And if Nate Eovaldi can be an ace of a staff kind of guy and throwing 100 in the postseason with nasty off-speed stuff, and I just think this team with the offense they have built, Simeon and Seager at the top of that lineup, hopefully getting Josh Young, and I just think if they get in with those superstars, Max really hurts. That does hurt.
It does.
But Jordan Montgomery been throwing well. Nate Eovaldi, can he be good? Watch out for the Rangers if they get in.
And they're currently in that second wild card spot, and I think the AL West is going to be a division that kind of comes down to that final couple weeks of the season.
Yep.
Let's move on to number 4. Now, this was a team that had a really hot start to the beginning of the season, kind of went through a lull, and now they're back up playing good baseball, the Tampa Bay Rays.
I just think a lot of people sleeping on the Rays.
Well, yeah.
Because
they were great and then not.
Right. And they also haven't ever really, besides that 2020 season, they haven't ever really been able to. They're a great regular season team and have struggled in the playoffs. And I think people would be surprised if you look up and see how close they are to leading the AL East.
Yeah.
When the Orioles have been talked about all year long. Yes, they've had injury after injury after injury to the starting rotation. And yes, they've lost some star players throughout the year. And you look up and they're still putting up wins. This is a team that is able to pitch. They do all the things, all the little things the right way. And it's a team you don't want to play in the postseason.
All right, let's move to number 3. Now, this is a team right now on the outside looking into a wild card spot, the Blue Jays.
Yes, the Blue Jays have, to me, I've talked a lot the last couple of weeks about the blueprint it takes to win in the postseason. Well, they have it. What do the Blue Jays have? They have really good rotation. They have stars in the offense. They have Vladdy Jr., who can be great. They have Bo Bichette. They have a really good offense. George Springer, who's unbelievable in the postseason. Great offense, good stars there, and then a really dominant rotation and a good back into the bullpen closer. That's the blueprint. And if you can have 2 or 3 starters that you can trust to go out and get you wins in the postseason, you're going to be a problem. And I know the Blue Jays right now are kind of flip-flopping between that 3rd and 4th spot.
Yeah.
But if they get in with Kevin Gausman leading that rotation, watch out.
Well, our number 2 is just in above the Blue Jays in the wild card, the Mariners.
Yes, this is a team that I've been talking about a lot. I really like them. They're not playing their best baseball currently in the month of September. But again, if they get in with a rotation of Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby, and a bullpen that is just absolutely disgusting, and an offense that has Julio Rodriguez, and if they can get, look, what's going to happen for this team, because the offense as of right now isn't what it needs to be to win the World Series. But if you can have Julio, and if you can have somebody else step up and have a historically good postseason. You know, I look back on a lot of the runs, and remember that Kike Hernandez in the playoffs for Boston when he just went absolutely nuts. Just having somebody step up other than Julio Rodriguez offensively and pair that with the dominant pitching. Mariners, I said it last week, I will say it again. It would not surprise me if the Mariners end up in the World Series.
And this is when, this time of year, especially the last stretch and that beginning of the postseason, when good players become great.
Yep. And
they step up and they become those different makers. Now, our number 1 was kind of the sleeper last season, and they look like they could be it again, the Phillies.
They were the sleeper last year. They're seemingly a sleeper this year solely because they're so far back in the NL East, but they should not be. It should not surprise anyone if the Phillies do it again.
Yep.
Why? Well, because they might be even better than last year. Their offense is certainly better. Trey Turner has really turned it all around, has been great. The pitching, you need Aaron Nola to be what he was last year in the postseason. And that's a big ask. And that's my worry right now with this Phillies team is Aaron Nola and Ranger Suarez going to be able to step up and be what they were in the postseason last year? Because that's the reason they got to the World Series. Not because of the offense that's really good. Obviously, that helps. But it was the pitching. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez. You look up at the end of the day, and all three of them were dominating in the postseason. They're going to need it again. They still have them all. Craig Kimbrell's been good at the back end of the bullpen. Dominant offense. It should not surprise anybody, Alex, if this team can get back to the World Series. Now, it's just a hard path.
But it's also kind of the perfect timing, right? Because they're once again not first in the division, but they're fighting to get into that wild card spot, which is that energy and that fight that you need towards the end of the season, that you carry that into the playoffs, that kind of give you that extra spark. And now you have a healthy Bryce Harper, a Trey Turner that's finally turned his season around. And as you mentioned, if their pitching can step up, this is going to be a team that's hard to stop.
Yeah, it's just the National League is a harder path. You got the Braves and the Dodgers that are both going to be really good. So that's the harder path to go through in the National League. But if anybody can do it,
Phillies.
It's the Phillies. And that's why they are the only National League team on this list for me that has the potential to take down either the Braves or the Dodgers. So I go Rangers, Rays, Blue Jays, Mariners, Phillies as my top 5 postseason sleepers.